Hey everybody, welcome to the video. I know it's been a while since we've done a video, but there's a reason for that. My work has just been ramping things up incredibly. There's a huge demand for video. I work in video production, and so I go to work and then just work. I come home, what's the last thing I want to do? Make another video, right? Now, I'm not saying that these videos are the same quality that the ones that we produce. We have whole teams, we have, lighting, makeup, crew, stuff like that. These are just short little videos, so they do go a lot more quickly. The only problem is I'm just burnt out, and my wife, fortunately, has been stepping up and helping out with the videos. So in the future, you will see a lot more of her in the videos, and she will also be shooting more of the videos. Now, there's a little bit of a learning curve there, and it's going to take her a while to pick up on some of the things. So we just ask that you guys are patient, and you just kind of roll along. If there's any sound issues or lighting issues, I'm sure it won't be that big of a deal. Because I think you guys care more about the content than anything else. So I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about our kids and their homework. Now, when you introduce autism into homework type situations or any type of educational situations, you have to deal with a learning disability, for lack of a better term. In some cases, there's a learning ability, or I want to say an extra handicap in their favor, because they can be really good at some things that neurotypical kids are maybe just average at. And I don't want to say it like evens out, or like one's generally better than the other and they just kind of equal out. I think generally speaking, those who are dealing with autism overall have a harder time in mainstream type classes. Again, there's always exceptions to everything, but with our kids, generally Ian and Connor do pretty well with reading. Writing, a little bit messy, but they're getting better. The biggest thing they struggle with is math. And by the way, they're great artists, so they might be a little bit ahead of other children with their art. And I think that makes sense, because a lot of times autism is visual processing, so they're very good with the visual side of things. When it comes to math, one of the things we notice for Connor, for instance, when he gets his math homework, he doesn't want to do it, of course, just like any other kid, but he takes it to a next level. He'll start destroying his homework. He'll throw watercolor paint all over it. He'll draw frowny faces. He'll cross out math problems with X's. Basically, he just tries to destroy his homework. So when we ask him about it, he's like, oh, well, my homework's destroyed. There's nothing I can do. Kind of like the dog ate my homework. But of course, we don't accept that. We have him clean up his work, or we rewrite the problems that he damaged, and then we do it over again, bit by bit. He has such a difficult time with his homework, and math in particular, that he's not one to normally hit himself like Ian does, or Ian did very consistently before he had medication. But anytime we press him like, hey, you got to do your math homework, he'll just start hitting himself really hard, screaming, getting really red-faced, throwing himself on the ground. A lot of self-deprecation, talking about how dumb he is, how stupid he is, how everybody hates him. So he has a lot of difficulty with math homework. And so we're just trying to work a small bit at a time, just do a couple of problems, work on the basics, and focus on the visual side of things. So right now he's talking about arrays for multiplication. So one of the things we did to help him is we had these dinner rolls, and we split up the dinner rolls, like you had like 3 in a row and then maybe like 2 columns. And then we said, okay, we're going to take away, for subtraction, we're going to take away 3. How many are left? And he's like, okay, 3 are left. So 6 minus 3 is 3. Oh, and I want to mention that Connor is so good at reading, he's actually a grade level ahead in his reading. So reading high, math low. And Ian is kind of the opposite, would you say, Britt? So Ian is pretty good at math right now, but not so good at reading. So it just depends on the child and the circumstance. And again, I know most people are watching this, if they don't know someone who's autistic, or they don't have an autistic child, they're probably like, yeah, that's just like every kid. Some kids excel at one thing and they have a hard time with the other things. The main issues that we're trying to work through is when they start having meltdowns over homework, or they become increasingly frustrated, or they just hit a wall and they just refuse to do homework at all. And so we just have to kind of walk them through it slowly. Another thing, and I know this helps a lot of kids too, is simple motivations. Like, hey, if you want to play the iPad, just do 3 math homework problems, and I'll work through with you, and I won't do your work, but I'll work with you on getting them complete. And if you do those 3 problems, then you can play iPad for 15 minutes. You want to play more, you got to do 3 more problems, so on and so forth. Reading, usually we do like 20-minute intervals. If they don't do their entire reading, then they don't get to play video games or play outside. They do have some friends now, which is cool, neighborhood friends. Or we won't let them play with their friends, which they really hate. So they love going outside and playing with them. So if they don't know their homework, they don't get to do that. So guys, I'm going to turn it over to my wife, Brittany, now, and she's going to talk a little bit about Ian at school. I talked a little bit about homework. I know you guys probably have more questions. I really hate that our comments are disabled because I know you guys probably have a flood of questions to ask us. But that's just how it is. That's how YouTube sees things right now. I've written them. I petitioned them. They said, too bad, so sad. They still think that there's a bunch of child predators lurking out there. And for some reason, our channel, a few other channels, were high risk. I don't get how they select the different channels and favor one over another, because obviously there's a lot of other YouTube channels that feature children that have their comments enabled. I know we've mentioned this many times. It's very frustrating. But we're continuing to do videos to try and help educate. There may come a time when the way their algorithms work that our videos just don't get out there. I don't know. But in the meantime, we're going to keep making videos. And again, I'm going to turn it over to Brittany. And thanks for watching.
So I thought I'd talk about a concept that has helped me a lot with Ian that his teacher came up with, which is kind of turning the day around. So a lot of the time, Ian doesn't have a good start to his morning. Something will set him off. He'll be upset about not being able to play a video game or watch a video that he wanted to do. He'll just be upset, and he'll start school upset. And he doesn't usually want to do his work when he's in that kind of frame of mind. And so one technique the teacher will do, she'll say, let's turn the day around. If you can get through just these few problems or do this bit of reading, and then you can take a break or have a snack, and we'll come back to it. And she'll ask, do you think you can do that, Ian? And he'll try. And some days it doesn't work, quite as well, depending on how worked up he is about the thing that was upsetting him. But the older he gets and the more we've implemented this technique, the more useful and efficient it's become. And some days he's turned the day around so thoroughly you'd never know that he had a bad morning. In teaching kids with autism, obviously they're kids and they're going to complain about homework like every other kid. The difficulty lies in having not only patience, but also an understanding of where their roadblocks are. For instance, we mentioned Connor and his communication issues, like purposefully being secretive and destroying homework and crying and getting worked up about it. With Ian, it's more kind of anger. He doesn't want to work on it, so he's not going to work on it. He's going to, shout and stomp around, and it takes us a while to get him settled. And, sometimes there is the whole carrot on a stick. You have to dangle a treat or a activity or take away something in order for them to do the homework that they need to do in order to excel. So if you get anything out of this, remember to split up the work in bite-sized portions so that they can work through problems and feel like they're doing something substantial and get rewarded. And then with patience, they'll eventually work up their way to doing the entire homework and feel that sense of satisfaction. So bite-sized pieces, patience equals homework done. As we come up with new techniques to help these kids do their homework, we'll let you know more in the future. Just so you know, Ian's in 6th grade, Connor's in 3rd grade, and Alistair's still in preschool, but he'll be in kindergarten next year. And I did ask them some questions about what they think of this school year and what they're excited for, so they'll get to tell you what they think about that.
So what's so frustrating about homework sometimes?
Since math problems are so hard.
Well, how do you feel about it?
Sometimes I cry or I get anger.
Mm-hmm.
I get angry too.
Okay. Well, how do you work through it? How do you tell yourself that you're going to do your homework?
What?
How do you tell yourself you're going to do your homework when it's hard? What helps you?
Just solve the problem, like counting fingers and writing down like pictures and stuff.
Mm-hmm. I know sometimes you say you love school and sometimes you say you hate school. Why do you get frustrated about school?
Because sometimes school gets really boring, sometimes school gets exciting.
Mm-hmm. What's exciting?
Some people actually haven't seen this before. I had a bingo chart on my desk.
Mm-hmm. And do you get rewards and prizes?
Yep, if I get a bingo.
Nice.
But I'm the only one who has that bingo.
Well, that's a good thing.
There's another bingo, but it's the teacher's one.
Yeah.
So,
So rewards
all of
work,
us.
right? Prizes.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you not like about school?
Math.
Is it hard staying
If it's
focused sometimes?
If it's really, really hard, like 422 times 643,000.
That's a big number. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, Connor. So, what do we say about multiplication? That it's the same thing as? A dish.
Dishes?
Addition. Multiplication and addition are the same, right?
Yup.
It's just a bigger number.
Dish 143, 642.
It's multiples of the same number.
Oh.
So it's like adding in groups.
It's like you're telling me math.
Yeah. Very good. Thanks.
480,600 billion times 1.
Is what?
Same number that I just said.
Yeah, it's the same number you just said. What is 0 times 10?
0.
That's right. What is 0 times 12?
0.
What is 0 times 15?
0.
What is 0 times 8 billion?
0.
What is 0 times Connor?
What?
0 Connors.
What the heck? And macaroni cheese biscuits.
Okay, I think we're done.
Do you have anything you want to say to other kids who are struggling with homework?
Yeah.
What do you think would help them? What would you tell a kid who says, I have a really hard time with math homework or reading? What would you say? What would be your advice?
You just have to do it and try and solve it and keep doing it.
Even if it's hard? Even if you cry and get worried and upset?
Yeah.
So Ian, what's your favorite kind of homework?
Well, I like reading.
You like reading?
Yeah. It's easy, not fun, just easy.
What about math?
Well, I do like math pretty much.
You're pretty good at math?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's easier for you?
Yeah.
Okay, Ian, when you have a hard day at school, what do you do?
Well, let's see. I do some music and do my own fun at recess to calm me down.
Do you walk in the hall sometimes to calm down?
Well, yeah, sometimes.
That's good. Does it help?
Yeah, sometimes.
Are you able to turn the day around sometimes?
Yeah.
Does that feel good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
Like I do music, and if it's Wednesday or Friday, I talk with the nurse to cheer me up.
Do you step away from the problem, whatever's frustrating you, for a little bit?
Like Kyler annoying me or Connor annoying
Okay,
me
yeah,
too.
that's frustrating. So you step away and then you go back to it and you do a little bit of work, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then do you finally earn all your points in class?
For mystery motivator.
Yeah, you have a mystery motivator, which is like a prize. You've improved so much. Do you have any advice for other kids who are having a hard time doing schoolwork? What would you tell them? If they said, how can I do my schoolwork like Ian? What would you say?
Talk about cars with you guys sometimes, or watch some car videos with Daddy with the TV.
So having a motivator helps? Having something to look forward to when you're done is good? Yeah?
Yeah.
Having a goal?
Goal
Something to look forward to
in school or home.
at home? Like
Well-
getting a treat or playing a game?
So I'm playing for the most board 7. I'm sorry you guys can't see because it's all the way over there.
And you got that because you did your homework, right?
yeah, so guys, would you like to see my new car, which is the Aventador?
Okay.
Thank you, Ian.
Thank you.